waiting patiently for 4 or 5 minutes past come or
As we were
anyway,
just talking.
we were just talking, lost in time. And now, right, here's my special guest today. It is Care Bear Bard of the Cards from the eastern side of the right coast of the United States.
Hi.
Whereas I'm on the left coast, not the
Just a
wrong
little
coast,
different.
the left coast.
Just different. Just
All
different.
right. So what we're going to start here is that Care Bear is going to tell us about her channel, what she does here, while I flip my camera down, and then hopefully you don't see any of my clutter when I'm doing that.
You should see my desk. I've got books and all kinds of things I have to reference.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this
So
is
I made a mess. I made a good mess.
yeah. All righty. Let's see if we can do this here.
Yeah. So my channel is very eclectic. I It's basically my creative outlet right now. And I'm just kind of seeing where it goes. Care Bear, Bard of the Cards. Care Bear is a childhood nickname. I was an 80s baby, literally 1980. And Care Bears were huge. And having the name Karen, yeah, Care Bear. So that's where that came from. And that was just, I used this channel first just as Care Bear. But then I'm like, I want to make a channel. And so I know I need to keep the Care Bear, but what do I put with it? So Bard of Cards came on after that. And that comes from my studies in the tarot. I will always be a life student at this point. And so I like to do readings of all sorts on my channel and explore things from pet reads
Yeah, those animals.
to, yeah, pet reads to love, money, whatever. And
Yeah,
just,
she read on one of my squirrels that are running around, and it got eaten by some bird. It just came swooping down and killed it dead.
that was a fun read.
Yeah.
I mean, the circle of life there with the squirrel.
Hmm.
Rest in peace, squirrely.
Yeah,
But I'm glad that it didn't, because they do wreak a lot of havoc.
they can.
They really can, but they're so darn cute at it, right?
They are really cute at it, especially something in here.
Hmm.
You got the little. And I'm thinking,
Yes.
all
So
right,
I read cards on my channel, and I like to collab with a lot of other channels, and I write some poetry. So the Bard, and I I did study with a vocal coach. I was a vocalist for a while, so I do some singing a little bit here and there, and just explore esoteric topics. And I am wrapping up an astrology course, and I really enjoy astrology. So those are my main passions, and we just try to have fun on my channel, and that's my main objective right now. And I'm so appreciative for all of the friends and community that I'm making along the way in this journey. So
okay. So I have.
no,
Sorry, I have
you're fine.
set the coloring pencils, and this was the one that my was given to me for Christmas.
Nice.
And it's nice and big by my sister. And so we have all these different colors in here to choose from.
That was
And
really
then,
nice of her. That's
yeah,
thoughtful.
it is. We have all these different colors. It's got pages on each side, so pages and pages of colors.
That's perfect. I see
So we
lots of purples.
So, but I also have this is full of some soft pastels.
Nice.
At LOL, I don't know where I bought it, but because I didn't buy it, somebody bought it for me. And welcome, Bravo, welcome,
What?
LOL.
Yeah. What is that purplish? Yeah, that pastel one. I might have you move to that one.
This one
I
here?
yeah, I came prepared with a few color ideas based off of some research I was doing and a deep dive through T. Susan Chain's
Oh,
book where she goes into like a lot of the esoteric symbolism and everything.
so at LOL, the coloring book, I ordered it from the evil empire of Amazon.com.
Nice and true.
Yeah, yeah. So I've in choosing your billionaires to support, I decided that I discontinued my Meta accounts, so I'm not going to support Mark Zuckerberg anymore. And since I can't afford electric cars, well, I'm definitely not supporting
Me
Elon.
neither.
And then with those are the main ones, but of course the ones you can't get away from are the Cokes because they have their fingers in everything, from
Right.
toilet paper to whatever, and then who knows if, but if they do mostly frack gas, then none of that gas is going in your cars because we don't refine any of that here. And
Yeah.
but anyway, I was not going to talk about that stuff, but
Oh,
um,
I forgot to mention something to your viewers as well.
yeah,
I am a stay-at-home parent.
stay at
So
home.
I have 3 littles. One is uh, actually, he's in his after-school program right now, but the other pair is a
Yeah,
gorgeous set of twins that are toddlers. So every now and then I
and
have to mute myself.
yeah,
It
and
it's my life.
I am a full-time caregiver for an elderly person of my mother, and sometimes I have to mute myself too, and because especially she gets
Yes.
a little impatient if I'm on too long. So
Yes. I
um,
we get each other then. Different
yeah, yeah,
sides of the spectrums,
exactly.
but hey, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that this pencil set, I think my sister got it at Michael's. I don't,
I
but
love
she
Michaels.
didn't say where they got it from. But I buy all my art supplies out of a store called the Merry Artist, and they are online too. And you can use
Nice.
Amazon Pay. But the one that I guess if I were to talk about, 'cause a lot of people really question me for maintaining a relationship with Amazon, but thing is, I've had an account with Amazon for almost 20 years, and
Yeah.
I've never once had my credit card number stolen, and
Mm-mm.
so my data has always been secure there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know that as an employer, there's all these problems, but then oh well, it's like
Yeah.
what
That
are you
was me
gonna do?
knocking in wood for you.
Yeah. Anyways,
And
um,
myself. Yeah.
so where do you want to start here? So do you want to now? I have another batch of colored pencils as well,
Okay.
and these are metallic colors and some other ones. So, but these are my water soluble pencils,
Mhm.
and um, so I have an assortment of metallic colors too.
Oh, I like the metallics. We might have to go for the big star with some shine on it.
Okay, so do you want to go with we can what we can do is we can layer the metallics on last.
Sure.
Okay, so but let's go start with what don't you do you want to choose something from in here? I'm just gonna go through it slowly, and then
Okay.
you can choose something. Whatever
Mm,
catches your eyes.
okay. So from um from Chang's book here, she puts the color scales in the 4 worlds. She
Um,
references it, okay? And she mentions colors violet, sky blue, a bluish mauve, white, faintly tinged with purple. So I had the idea that we could do like maybe a dark purple hair because I want to switch up the blonde. Um,
okay.
I was a blonde, naturally dirty blonde, and
So you want to
yeah,
you want
I dye mine red, but the I think
okay,
the
so you
deep
want to do
purple
color.
would be nice. Yeah.
You tell me when to stop.
Okay, what the darkest purple there, because it's hard to tell. Those three almost look identical to me right there from my vision here. So I know
Yeah.
your eye will be better.
Okay. All right. So these are
Hey, Cosmic.
close together. These ones here. Now, if we go over
Yeah.
here, there's some other ones over
Okay.
here.
I think I liked the three that you pulled out. Kind of pulled out. Yeah, I was kind of thinking something along, some just deep purple would be fun. And
So,
it ties into the colors that esoterically are inspired,
mhm.
um, per what she put down here. And also it will, which, I was telling you, this is what we were chatting about weight
Yeah.
before we got a little carried away. um, but actually my teacher, Dusty White, who I've got actually his book here, you can get it on Amazon, is, oh my gosh, the easiest way to learn the I mean, not astrology, the tarot. He has an astrology book too. He's my astrology teacher too.
Mhm.
Uh, is kind of an inspiration that he was calling the lady, the maiden on the star, referring to her as Hecate, the bridge between the realms, because Hecate, who is she's the mother, the maiden, the crone, witchcraft, crossroads, all of those magical witchy things, right? In
Mhm.
Greek mythology. And Hecate, she helped Demeter when no one else would, when Hades took Persephone.
Yeah.
And with her torches helped guide the way. So that's uh I'll pull up exactly how he stated it because it's much more eloquent, of course. But I really thought that was an interesting concept and it made a lot of sense to me because
Mhm.
I feel like that's a lot of the inspiration behind the star is that divine guidance. And just like like the North Star was used before there were even compasses and things like that. How did people navigate lands and know where to go and stuff, right? So, uh, and actually, I think that star on there, from research I've been doing, is possibly even Venus because it was so bright, the morning star.
Yeah.
That before, and that's what we were talking about before before the live.
Yeah.
That, yeah, before they knew it was a planet, it looks like a star, and we've been able to see it recently.
Yeah.
It's not
Everything.
visible. Yeah, it's not visible year round.
All the lights
So
in the
yeah,
sky.
yeah, and then Sirius is part of
Mhm.
the constellation that represents Aquarius, which is the zodiac that
Mhm.
links up to the star. And that was what, from the Babylonians. They would go through these drought periods, and then they knew, like, when the star would move in, at a certain place or whatever, they knew that that was a sign that the rains would be coming, and then the abundance and the replenishment of the land and everything. So um, it's a lot of interesting background there
Yeah.
on that, and it makes a lot of sense with her taking from this. I like to call it the conscious collective, like a pool of consciousness here, and then she's pouring it on the land and nurturing it and reviving it.
Hmm.
So
But
that's where we get that healing and everything after the tower just took it all down.
yeah. So we have the waters of the collective unconscious or the collective consciousness.
Hmm.
Conscious or conscious.
You know, that could be up for debate as well, right? But to me, Aquarius, from my astrology studies,
Mhm.
well, first off, Aquarius is, it's a fixed sign and it's air. So just basically just call it fixed thought. So Aquarians can be a little stubborn
Yeah.
to their beliefs, and it's hard to sway them on that. But a lot of those beliefs are for the greater good of humanity and about innovation and hope and renewal and standing up for others. Modern astrology, it's linked to Uranus, and Uranus is very shocking, surprising, rebellious. And
Mm-hmm.
classically, though, is linked to Saturn, which is interesting because then you get the the restrictions, which makes sense because Aquarians can be both at the same time. It's an anomaly. But Aquarians are kind of like the voice of the people, but it's through much things that have been proven over time.
Mm-hmm. Welcome.
It's not kind of like the whims like a Gemini like me will go through. And that represents the way in astrology and the will it moves. Where Gemini, we're just focused on the interest of thought itself,
Okay.
and then it evolves to Librans, who is like, how do I interact with you, us? And then it becomes the greater collective. It's the highest realm of thought
So
on the will.
let me interrupt a second
Sure.
here. We go on to the body of the star. Would you like me to would you like it to be regular flesh tones, or would you like it to be like Hindu god tones?
I had an idea because I noticed there was a color, there was I'm thinking like a very, very pale, like purple, maybe a little mauve.
What is mauve? I have
Mauve
no
is
idea what mauve looks like.
drab, pink and purple. I don't know how to explain it. That's a good
I
question, right?
mean,
But
how would
a
you
very pale. I pull from your pastels one that because I was
like
like, we're gonna go there. Yeah, I saw a color there. That would be good.
this one
Hey,
here,
Nancy.
like this pinky one,
Lighter that
this one here.
you just yes, that's it. That's the one.
Okay, all
Hey,
right.
Mama Sushi.
Welcome, Mama Sushi and Crone, Nancy.
Yes, and Cosmic's here. Yep.
Yeah, he's been hiding people, and we've
Thank
had
you.
the Jesus Saves people here,
I'm
and
sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Hey, people, guess what? Wait, was a Catholic.
yeah. Well, that made me
Devout
laugh. I
Catholic.
know that when I was like young and exploring my spirituality, and I was as a Lutheran, and then people were knowing that I was kind of seeking, and and then I said, well, we'll come to our church. This is like evangelical this and evangelical that. And then, all right, well, I'd go, oh, come to this Potter's house. Oh, and then I was like, oh God, there's like when they started speaking in tongues, I was thinking, it was like seeing people's faces and everything change. And think, there's
Too
nothing but
much.
demons in here,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Very different. Different.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and then then I started going to Catholic Mass, and it says, "Oh no, Bill, you're just gonna go from one state of damnation to another. You're Lutheran, you're damned as a Lutheran, and going to become a Catholic, and you're damned as a Catholic, and you're just gonna spend all eternity in hell. There's nothing." Then you start talking about other things. Oh no, not aliens. No, you're damned.
Is that color even showing?
It's not showing yet. So
Okay.
it's
Okay. I just
really
wanted to make sure it had some kind of like, you know,
so
you're
we'll
outlining. I get it. Okay.
I think that probably this color would show more if the paper had some teeth to it. But
Yeah. Well,
be
if we
able,
need to layer over it a little bit, we can so it can show up just a little bit because I don't want it to be like totally without color.
yeah,
That's the interesting thing about color, right?
yeah,
Especially like when you paint and how different a color can look on
yeah,
it's same color on different, in different houses, different what, the lighting and everything and what how it's layered over something. I mean, you
mhm,
just never know.
yeah.
Hey, Elizabeth.
Oh, more, yeah. Elizabeth, welcome, and No Law, welcome.
Yes, no lie.
All right, so we got the
Yes.
whole idea of the stars as when to plant in abundance, and so you get
Yes.
them. Because what I was kind of just thinking of is when we think of like tarot and you think of astrology, that in earlier astrology you would have your everything was like written in the stars, and so you didn't
Mhm.
really need your a deck of cards for divination. You just went outside.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the evolution of the tarot may have just come through these other divinatory practices.
Yeah.
And then, they look at like I've seen it before. They've uncovered old synagogues, and there is the zodiac right on the floor, and
Mhm. I've seen things like that.
Mhm.
Yes.
So
And
it
then
yeah.
mhm. So cool. I really like seeing the historical evidence of that,
Mhm.
of those
Yeah.
beliefs.
Well,
It
and
it
then
yeah.
it just
Sorry,
kind
go
of
ahead.
it kind of just brings out how how our religious traditions interpretive strategies go, and how they as you there's an evolution in your religious tradition, that it completely goes back and it reinterprets everything.
Mhm.
And so if you were in doing religious studies in Bible studies, and especially if you were in a more mainline college or institution, you would be seeking to look at those books for
Mhm.
how they were written in the context
Yes.
of the history that they were written, and not looking at things into the context of what how you interpret things. And so for instance,
How much was missing? What
exactly.
viewpoint did they take it from?
Mhm.
That's something that we find in history
So
itself, right?
would you
Yeah.
mind if this here's another color of that pink, and let me
Mhm.
tell you what color it is. That's maybe a little bit too dark. And let's go in and find another color, and I will layer
Maybe
it
like
right.
a lilac or, like a light lilac or just one that'll show up enough, but it's like a light purple.
Okay,
Light,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe like this is
Yeah, let's try it. Yeah,
that
we'll go
pinky.
see because obviously that one, the color looked right for me, but it didn't show up the way I wanted it to.
Yeah,
Because I kind of want
mhm,
it to be light like a flesh tone, but not like a real flesh tone color.
yeah. I get you. You want, yeah, and
She's magical. She's there. She's a,
mhm.
to me, right there, she's in her maiden form to me.
Well, welcome, Chris Topaz. Welcome,
Hi,
welcome back.
Chris.
Yeah, so you have the different, well, I guess we're getting off, but we're talking about the whole the astrological links, and in the ancient world,
Yeah.
and all of these things, and how the evolution of, there's a great book to read. I think it's called God by Aslan. It's by some Islamic scholar. Let me see. I think let me see if I can find that, and I can show you what the name of it is.
They're about to fight.
But he goes through the entire uh, Aslan rebel, I think. Yes, Reb something. Reza Aslan. That's right. And he wrote a book. It might be this one. It's called God, A Human History. And this is a different cover, but he goes through the entire. Yeah, okay, that's right, because I purchased this one, and and it shows that I purchased it in 2018. And this book, it's really eye opening to go read books like that because it kind of shows you when they go through the evolution of thought and like it or not, um your religious spiritual beliefs are filtered right through your politics of your country, your countryside, your country politics, and you can actually see that playing out in today's world. And then if when all there's always these, then every time the human beings feel, especially in the Western world, that we feel under threat, we go to into the apocalyptic literatures of all of those traditions, and then we start making references to that because a huge number of people are in distress, and then that's why there's like a million different dates for the end of the world, which never have come they've never happened because it's just you know what I'm saying? It's like it's that
Yes.
we don't know. I mean, we don't know when the end will come, but then at the same time, I think it's a huge misinterpretation of those ancient um mythological stories.
Yes. Absolutely.
You
I
know,
might if I have to like sneak up for a minute there, I'm thinking one might be ready for me to put her down for a nap
um,
real quick.
um,
Um, so I'm thinking I might need to grab the just a minute. I'll be right back. I'm gonna mute myself in case they scream. I just wanted to make sure because you're still working on the
I'm still
purple
looking.
my purple lady, my purple Hecate.
Mm, I'll
Just one
lay
moment.
yeah. But yeah, so anyways, that's she stepped away for a second, and I'm just gonna add in some different colors to maybe add some depth in here. All right. All right. So yeah, so anyways, evolution of God and that book with the evolution of God through a human history is very fascinating. And as when if I were to talk about when I was going and doing academic Bible studies and how and when I had run-ins with folks in because a lot of the Christian world is really against people doing academic studies of the Bible because they see it as a place where your faith goes to die. And there's a certain truth to that, but getting a more expansive view. Granted, you didn't come here to hear this, but I'm just sort of filling in space here. Well, Karen runs away and does her duties as her mama duties.
Okay, I put them down for a nap. They were done. They need their nap.
You,
Sorry
did
about
you
that.
so did you use like the techniques that my great grandmother from Sweden did, and when to put the kids down, and then just gave them
Probably not.
a little whiskey
No.
on a bag, and then you know that's because she was like, what was she born? She was 90 years old when she passed in 1980, so that makes it 1890 was when she was born. Yeah, and she came to the United States in order to get a divorce. But anyway, so
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing that story before.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm adding some texture in here. How you look thinking? What do you think about that? Do you see it?
Yes, and I think it's gonna pop more once we get, some of the landscape down, and take away from some of the other, but yes, that's much better.
Mhm.
Purple is very intuitive color for me too.
Yeah.
It's very spiritual color,
Mhm.
and I believe that comes across a lot in all types of religions as well, and also what it represents a lot of royalty, but yeah, a lot of, I remember when I was going to Presbyterian church for a little while, remember there are a few purple banners.
Yeah.
Yeah, few few purple stalls, but I grew up Southern Baptist, so I identify with a lot of what you say and our explorations and
Yeah,
studies.
and that
Yeah,
sense
I've always been interested. I was like that brat in Sunday school. You're the Sunday school teacher's like, stop asking me all this stuff. I don't know.
yeah. One of my buddies, I talked to him last night on the telly, and um, he was raised Catholic and essentially kicked out because he was asking too many questions. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, um, welcome soon, though.
Hi.
Yeah. And so,
I
yeah, that,
just am very interested in I've always been interested in other religions. Oh,
mhm.
they are fighting me. They jumped out.
Fighting. Yeah, or your kids are fighting you. Yeah,
This is the unpredictability of having twins. I'm
yeah.
gonna turn their like little show on real quick so they don't
Okay.
revolt everywhere. And I'm going to keep a side eye on them during our life.
Your
You just
little
never know
Friday.
what you're gonna get. Yeah,
Mhm.
I have great intentions, but they're little human beings. I can't
Yes, they
control.
are.
Yeah, I can't control them entirely.
And all right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nor do I want to, because
Gonna
I
leave this
yeah.
with this metallic
Let
color.
me go turn the little telly on. I can hear you though. Okay.
Okay. We put this in here to make it some lines, so it makes it seem to have energy and power that's just sort of flowing through. Now, the most unusual tarot deck I have is the Hermetic Tarot,
Oh yeah.
which
Yeah, it's steeped.
yeah, I just a few
Steeped in
days
meaning.
ago, but
That's the Golden Dawn, right?
that's actually the Golden Dawn one. So if you go in there and go and you look up Golden Dawn, it gives you something else, and then maybe you look at the card. And I don't want it. I don't want this one, but this one here is the Golden Dawn Tarot because it came right out of that Golden Dawn
Yeah.
era.
I like the black and white and the illustrations and everything. I just don't know enough about it. Like, I mean, it requires its own study, right?
Yeah, it does. And so it is not a deck for divination.
Yeah, okay. Good to
I
know.
mean, people do it, but I just don't think it is because I think it is coming directly right out of that um the
You
right.
you pretty much have to be a scholar of it in a way, like even if that's in your self studies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to be able to give it meaning.
So I put these little lines in here with this metallic pink all
It's
over it. And how
fabulous.
do you like
I love that.
how
I
that looks?
love it.
Kind of gives it
Yeah,
more of a three-dimensional thing. Let's go on to the
I
star
love it.
field in the back.
Yes.
So what
Yes.
color do you want the stars to be? The same color or different colors?
Different different because I mean, the big star needs to be a different color than the others.
All right. Let's go into the
Yeah.
book of
Which what is it? The eight pointed star.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh,
1,
that's
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
it's 8. Yeah. It's supposed to I was like, "Oh god, I thought it was 8. I've been reading that."
I just counted
And
wrong.
there's
All
a
right.
gazillion reasons why. There's a lot of if anyone wants to explore it, but there are a lot of 8-pointed stars throughout
And
history, esotericism in general, too many references to call to, but there is meaning behind that. And I heard that the 7 behind it, I've heard different things. Like it could be representative of our chakras, or even like the sisters of Pleiades, all kinds of things. Yeah.
so,
Okay.
what color do you think want that big star? Let's start there.
So I want to dress it up in some, like metallic umph. But for me, like I want that star to be because Aquarians are so intellectual, right?
Yeah.
And yellow to me is so intellectual. And I really was like, man, Karen, you need to do, I was like, no, it's from what I believe. So we'll pick a nice yellow and then maybe overlay something kind of metallic to give it a little shine, perhaps.
Okay. So, oh, what about in one of some of these colors, yellow?
And let me look too. Yeah, like a
Really more brighter.
yeah, maybe like hmm, maybe a little richer,
Richer yellow,
a little
like,
richer.
like this one here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
That. Hmm.
All right. So we have the Toth Tarot, which I have one of those, but it's just like when I
Me neither.
well, I have one, but I was just thinking about I don't um I like some of the cards in it, like the
Yeah, I think
piece.
I'm about ready to venture into it.
Yeah.
I think I can put aside some of my because there's a lot of like good astrology. It's actually a really great astrology deck for
Mhm.
people. And now that I've studied, like I feel like I can get a lot more out of it now. And I've been studying decans and stuff too. So
Well,
um
someday I'll study the Toth, but if the world doesn't end,
right. Yeah, I'm willing to venture into it, but Aleister Crowley as a human
well,
being, yeah, I'm not a huge. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan.
well, I just like thinking it because I was thinking there was Ozzy Osbourne did a song called "What Mr. Crawley," and I didn't know it was the same. I was like thinking, Mr. Crawley, Aleister Crowley, is that the same person? Did they write it? Did Black Sabbath or Ozzy write a song about
I'm
Aleister
sure.
Crowley? Yeah, that
I
and he
mean,
did.
I'm sure. I mean, I can't think of another one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That would be worth writing about for that
Hmm.
genre. Yeah. I mean, because he was mayhem a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He you know, he did in his personal life some uh, things that I'm not
Chase,
I can't subscribe to.
that is
Yeah.
a star scene from tarot. It's a tarot star scene, like um,
It's nice.
and so we're coloring the tarot is what we're doing
Yes.
with my special guest here. She is telepathically telling me how to move these pencils on the page, and I'm just sort of that's what I'm doing. And then she's
It's
talking,
fantastic.
telling about things, and that's what's going on here.
Yeah. Just friends who like to talk about things that are a little bit subculture, right?
Mhm.
Our esoteric journeys and studies
And as far as
and
I know,
color.
I don't think anybody else is doing a show exactly like this on YouTube.
I love it. I
Like,
think it's
they're all
fabulous.
completely unique. That there's no one that is directing somebody else to do, especially in a live stream.
Right, exactly.
You
Yep. So,
So, anyways,
yeah,
so how? Let's go on to how does the okay? What? Let, before I ask the next question, what color do you want these other stars?
I've thought about that. And I
So,
know that they are white on the star card, and I know that's white, of course, is, the symbol of purity, probably. But,
mhm,
you know, going just white on it's a little boring for me. So maybe just like a sister pillar yellow, like a not
okay,
so bright, but we're still all here together,
okay. So different shades of yellow. Okay, all right. So I got different shades of yellow going on in here,
If you
and
can't tell, I'm a little monochromatic sometimes. Uh I like playing with different shades of the same
okay,
color. Like, I don't
all
know.
right.
I've always been that way a little bit. Like, I did my room purple one time, and I did my walls like a really
Okay,
pretty
so Mama Sushi asked if one of the
purple.
colors can be green.
We're turning on the
Can
fan.
one of the
Sorry.
stars be green?
Ooh, can one be green? Yeah, let's do yeah, because green is like abundance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I
like,
would say like a yellowy green.
what is that? Is that would that be one of these?
Is that what do you say, Mama Sushi? Because I do want to do our landscape, because I green is actually one of my favorite colors. I'm a green and blue kind of girl.
So somebody said the stars represent the chakras, so maybe they should be chakra colors.
Oh, yeah, let's do chakra colors. That's
Okay, why
fun.
don't you
I
tell me
like
what
it. Yeah.
they
That
are?
that is one of the suggested uh interpretations of what the other seven stars could be. Yeah, could represent the
Okay,
chakras.
so
And we could start like maybe go um from the left over to the right, and just go in order. So the bottom, the base star, okay, would be a root, which would be a rich, deep kind of ruddy red.
well, let's go up here. What would this one be?
Okay, so we've got root, we've got sacral, then we have our solar
Instead of
plexus,
instead of
and
giving
then
me
we have
the
our throat
just,
chakra. No,
just
heart chakra, heart.
give me the colors, please. I have no idea.
Sorry, I was gonna tell you that. I'm walking my way through it so I can tell you the color.
Okay,
Okay?
I'm being impatient here. Yeah, and we're
Yeah,
having a
I
good time.
yeah. Um, so that could be our green star
Okay, the
for Mama
green.
Sushi, because green or pink can be the heart chakra. So we can do a green heart chakra star for her.
Okay, all right. So I'll use some green. I'll just go into the green, and then that's the heart one. What's the next one?
Throat. So that is a blue. I think we'll have to do a really light blue, I would
Light
think.
blue.
Yeah, because the star just I don't want a dark star for the star card. Like, yeah, like a dark blue. I would want the sky to be a little bit darker than the star to be.
So I have lighter blues in this kit, and so we'll use a couple of
Yeah.
those.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So that gets me something to go on now. So my question being is for you, how does the tarot work?
Oh goodness. Feels like a loaded question. What do you mean? Like, from like, how is it possible
No, it just
to?
however you
I
however
was
you
just
think
curious.
about that. So in your tarot practice, it works for people, right? But how does it work? how do you think it works?
That's the okay. So first off, and this is always kind of a little thing I say about the tarot is, people kind of get a little spooked out by the cards
Hmm.
sometimes. Like, ooh, I mean, honestly, like they're paper, okay? They're paper. They could have been plastic, whatever. Cardstock is used for that. The real magic is inside of you.
Yeah.
You are the one who is, taking these pictures, these visuals, upon the question that you ask. It's kind of like a little bit like when you ask a question, you're kind of my teacher calls it a little bit like kind of a pact. He don't like to use contract. It's a little too
Yeah.
binding, but a pact that you're making and putting this question out there, and then um, there's that just like we're talking about on the star card is the bridge between the realms here,
Hmm.
and there's a little bit of mystery there, and it's amazing that I can randomly shuffle and everything, and that these cards come out and say the messages that they do, but they don't say those messages unless I speak them and understand what they're saying,
Yeah.
and how we communicate. So uh, it's one of the most fascinating parts of tarot, and it's something that I think helps keep it fresh for me because there's a handful, more than a handful, several different ways you can interpret a card.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's like, how do you know which one to use?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes I throw all those meanings out the window. Oh, hey, Jeff, good to
Yeah.
see you. I throw every meaning out the window sometimes
Hmm.
because there's something when I look at visually on the art, and this happens a lot with other creators' decks. And I'll look, and this happens in pet readings a lot. I'll look, and I'm like, okay, this card doesn't really make sense why it's here. Then my intuition stops, and then I look, and I'm like, does your cat look like this, or something,
Yeah.
or is there something about? Because I do like to use a cat deck, and sometimes that has happened. I used an animal deck that didn't have dogs or cats in it. It's the oh, gosh, what is this called? The Wild and is it the Wild Unknown or something like that? It's a Kim Kranz deck. It's a really nice deck, and I'm trying to find it. The Seven of Swords came out, and it was just it was kind of a it's like and then they look and they're like, I have a fox terrier, and there was a fox in the card. Finally
Yeah.
find that card, and it was just cool how it communicated like that. So you can get visual hits and stuff. So yeah, look at the images too.
Hmm.
Um, and you'll get clues. Like if you were to ask, where's my I mean this I'm still trying to figure this one out. I can't do it.
Well,
Say like it does work and you're like, where's my watch? And you get like the Ace of Cups. The clue is that the Ace of Cups has water lilies on the water in the original card. Where do water lilies grow? On fresh water. Maybe I
hmm.
dropped it in the lake. I don't
Yeah.
know. Just saying. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it uses your creativity, your intuition, also your understanding of the meanings of the cards, and you pull from this just magic bank of everything, and it's like a puzzle to me, and it amazes me, and it never gets old.
Yeah. Huh.
So that's
Interesting.
kind of how it works for me.
So
Um,
let's go
in the
on.
basics.
What color is this star over here?
Okay, so that's the third. That is our solar plexus. And what we'll do is, because I know that we have used our big star in the middle as the yellow, we're going to call that our golden light star, like the grand golden light.
Well, you know
If we're
what we
thinking
can
about
do?
chakras,
Okay.
let's bring in like a yellow, but it's orange yellow, but lighter.
You like
like
this?
really light. Yeah, because our sacral has to be, I believe, orange.
Kind of.
So yeah, I can't. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, because when I've looked at tarot channels and you see people, especially during when they were doing predictions on the election or
Hmm.
talking about things that, see here, this one means this, and I'm thinking, well, did you just pull that out of your arse? Is that what you're? That's the impression that I get with a lot of when I a lot of those channels that got like 100,000 subs, or they get a million views on a video, and I wonder if are they are they for real, or are they just pulling this stuff out of their arse and making it up as they go along? Do you ever feel that way, or is that just me? Am I just like so super skeptical about things?
Well, I do
And
believe that there are people that really like, but they can easily be kind of spotted out when nothing kind of matches up, and then also the readings don't resonate, so it can't be the intuition, right? At that point.
because
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
because
but, like, if they don't have a proper, like, because I think it's good to have what I like to call rote knowledge,
hmm
but it's important to, leave yourself open, because sometimes tarot can be very tongue in cheek.
yeah.
Yeah, like, you literally look and you're like, "Oh gosh," something will be so literal in the card. I can't think of a really good, I'll think of one in a little while. Oh, we do fun exercises in my tarot class, and sometimes we'll just come up with professions that cards could be. And one of, like, my running jokes is about the 6 of Pentacles.
hmm
Um, and, we would have to come up with something. I'm like, sample time at Costco, like, you can see them just, like, handing out things. So you could think, like, "Oh, well, they're giving this," or whatever. But I know political readers, have their own language in the cards, that you develop a communication. So that's why it's difficult for somebody else to come in sometimes and tell you, what do my cards mean, without being involved in that reading, understanding the energies that were involved. Um, my teacher's like, I can maybe give you some suggestions, but I can't tell you exactly what that means, because I'm not doing that reading and those aren't my cards. Like, that's not that's a whole nother debate on its own.
Well,
But in a belief, yeah.
so what do you think? How about this one? Is that orange enough of a variation of color from here to here?
Hmm.
Would you would you
I mean,
are
maybe like we can layer like something fun and metallic over it
so
or something.
would like a gold color layered on top of this one make it different?
I don't know. We can see.
Would that be something you'd be opposed to, or if you want?
Maybe we can outline it first.
How about we go through and finish all the stars, and then we'll see about a different color on this one.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, because I know I know we gotta get our colors down. So,
okay, we're going
all right.
down.
So that one is our that's the third eye chakra. So that would be a purple. And it's like an indigo purple.
I mean,
Like an or an indigo. It can be indigo too. Like, it doesn't have to be purple. It could be like a really deep, deep blue too.
a
Or
really deep,
purpley blue. Ooh, go back over.
like one of these.
Picture. Yeah, was that how we did our hair? I can't remember.
Her hair is similar, yeah. Um,
But that's fine,
yeah,
because you know what? It makes sense, right?
you can
Because
match.
that's like kind of like her crown, like near her third eye. My girls are turning my fan on. They're little
Okay, so like,
bananas.
um, I mean, this is. I should put these in order here. So, what about are these? Is this like an indigo color here?
Sure. I mean, we'll test it out.
So
Because
this
I
is
mean, it
uh,
can be, yeah. Because I mean, people.
deep sky blue. That's kind of
We'll see how it looks. What do you think, Mama Sushi? Is she still here?
Prussian blue. Well, let me just Oh,
Because
I'll put it.
indigo technically is a really deep blue, but a lot of people say your intuition's purple too, so that's a good question.
Okay. How about?
I'm not a chakra expert.
Yeah, I suppose we even know what they are. So
Yeah, and I know, like, the color, what stones I mean, I imagine there's some room for interpretation
black.
there too, right? I think more of a hint of purple. Okay. Yeah, like a purpley blue.
Yeah, purpley blue.
Yeah, and I did see Mama Sushi, she put a comment about when you get into specific genres you're reading on. That's very true as well. Um, some things for love readings, I would totally read different
Mm-hmm.
versus a financial read. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you standard, the really broad definitions in a love read on some cards because those aren't going to work. Like, oh, he's just saving money. Like, no, he's holding back, like the Four of Pentacles or something,
Mm-hmm.
like the meanings and things change. And of course, readers like to put their own flavors in there too. And
Yeah.
yeah, and you develop its own language in different kinds of readings. I know Jeff, what is it? He in his Lenormand, the bear is Russia for him.
So you kind of need to. Somebody needs to write the book called Tarot Reading for Idiots.
It would be never ending.
I know the idiot guide, but so a deep kind of a purpley blue, kind of an indigo color.
Yeah, like
Violet.
let me see it. Because
Let's go up over here.
I think, you know what? I think that might work. So, I mean, I know, yeah, let's do that.
And then I have some of these other purples.
If you need to like tinge it with some blue, added blue, we could do that,
Do that,
Yeah. Might have to like blend two colors or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here we are. So then, what was the first tarot channel you actually ever watched? Very first one.
Oh my goodness. Do I even know? It's been so long. I mean, it's been so long that I've watched tarot channels
Mm-hmm.
and things have shifted. I'm trying to think though, like uh pro I mean, it wasn't the first one, but I mean, he's massive as like Tyler's tarot and he's a yeah, it's kind of trashy a little bit, but it's fun. And it's love. It's all love. And but like Soul Source Tarot,
Mm-hmm.
she's very Queen of Swords, by the way. And she'll tell you that. She's a straight shooter, but she's eerily accurate. Eerily accurate. And then everything just kind of shifted and expanded. I watch a lot of different readers, but not so much now as just supporting readers in our community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't have time to be watching tarot all day,
Yeah, I get you because I oftentimes will not watch tarot when I'm just relaxing. I think I would rather watch somebody cut somebody's toenails. Big old toenails, or
Not me.
or watch people play slot machines, and
That's funny.
when I get oversaturated from watching news, then
Oh
I'll go.
gosh, news. Yeah, I have to be really careful about that
What
one.
what about this one over here?
That is that's the sacral. So I want to go like a true orange on that.
Orange.
Hmm.
Okay. These are all shades of orange. Which one do you want?
Let's
Maybe
see.
that one?
Uh,
This is like a
I'm
jack-o'-lantern.
kind of between. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of between
What
those two.
what
So
about this one here?
that might be too deep for me. Yeah, let's do that other one. Yeah,
Okay.
in my, just the way I visualize it. It's
Yeah.
a little. It's room
Okay.
for interpretation.
So then when I get kind of full, what I did during like the 2020 election cycle, I was watching this channel called Mr. Popsit a lot.
Interesting.
And then I'd be watching the same ones all over again when they got this big giant cyst, and then all this pus would flow out.
Oh,
And
yeah. This is me during those.
yeah, and then
No.
yeah, well, there is that, but that's just how the mood was striking me as far as what was going on. This was preferable to anything you might hear on on any other like channel about what's going on in the United States today or in the
Yeah.
world or anything, and that this
I like to
puppy
laugh.
mess is just sort of just a pleasant distraction.
Yeah. That's me like going and watching cat videos
Cat videos, yeah.
and goats. The
Or
fainting
then
goats, like, yeah, those always crack me up. Like where they're just like going along, all of a sudden they're like, this is what they do. It's the strangest thing. I love it. I love watching animal videos, and
so
I like learning things too.
yeah,
I'm always like that. That's a total Gemini thing there. But a lot of the times, Bill, honestly, I'm having to like listen to like lectures and stuff from all my studies.
yeah.
And yeah, so I'm doing like kind of like double duty. And then when I need a total break from everything, I am I turn on the music,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
or sometimes just silence.
do you
It's
ever
good.
watch Mr. Beat?
Mm,
I
no.
don't watch Mr. Beast because I there's
Oh,
something.
Beast, Mr. Beast. I thought you said
No,
beat.
I was talking about
Okay.
Mr. Beat. He is a history
Oh,
teacher out of some of
no.
see, it comes out of the middle of the United States someplace. Like I think I used to know. I think but like 4 years ago, I think he told where
Yeah.
almost down to the school district that he was teaching out of. But um,
I have a fascination for paranormal investigations.
you know,
I'm very particular though with this
hmm
because I think there's a lot of faking out there, a lot of sensationalizing.
oh yeah,
I like for there to be, where they don't get too dramatic about it, and but there's actual like evidence that's being put. And yeah, I've always been fascinated with that before I ever got into tarot. But I mean, I don't do
mm,
Ouija boards. I don't really like investigators who use those, to be honest.
the
So
weak
yeah,
boards.
yeah, I'm not into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a personal preference,
Yeah,
personal reasonings. That's a whole nother conversation and a hole we could go down esoteric. It's not even yeah, whatever hole that is. We don't need to
a
go
lot of
down it.
people have a lot of people have a hard time with the Ouija board. I noticed that. I
I yeah, yeah. I don't know what it is about it exactly, but I feel like it's just too open of a channel for whatever
Mhm.
reasons. Something about it. And that could be something that, I might just want to look into just to understand why. Why is it that way? Why do a lot of people feel that way about it?
Well, I
Why
can
am I okay with that? Why am I okay with the tarot and not the Ouija board? You know?
exactly, and so it might be that because when you think of like the Rider Waite Tarot and the folks who
I'm listening to you, but my girls, they're
yeah
dumping something on the floor right now. My
exactly
cereal. Like, hold on, let me grab it.
yeah
I'll be right back.
Okay. And the folks who created it, like Arthur Waite, was a Catholic. And maybe because of his own religious roots, that it seems less evil than you take of the stigma that is attached to the Ouija board. Now, my experience with the Ouija board as a kid um, was everybody had their eyes closed, but me, and I was pushing the thing around to the different things, and yeah, it was moving, but I do remember consciously moving it, and so forth. And so, yeah, let's see if we go over here. Ghost for Profits. Yeah, and you like the alien videos. So what kind of alien videos do you watch, like the Y-Files? Because he does some aliens sometimes. I'm gonna just do this gold in here, very light. And so Karen will come back and her star is like completely changed because I layered some gold in here. And so I used to read a lot of alien books until the aliens ended up in my dreams, and so then I kind of stopped reading books on aliens. The only ones that didn't end up in my dreams was the Eric von Däniken Chariots of the Gods books, and I read a lot of those. I think I read.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
Bill, you should see my happy little mess they leave me. And Bob
Oh,
hasn't fixed the vacuum.
okay. So we are going on to this part. This one over here. What is this?
Okay, that is actually we can actually leave that one. Or do you have a silver?
A what?
Do you have any like a metallic like silver?
Yeah, I do.
Let's just do that because technically I consider that to be the crown. It'd probably be white, or probably even gold, but we've already done so much gold. Let's just do like divine silver and yeah.
Silver and
That's the highest chakra. That's
pewter.
right before you reach over into the
Beyond.
quantum. Yeah.
Okay.
Quantum, the ethers, officially. Yeah. That's what connects us most is the crown. The third eye is right before. So, but yeah.
That's
yeah, the crown is like when we get into, Christ consciousness. And when I say that, just, whatever that means for you personally, right? Yeah.
Have you ever listened to any lectures by Richard Carrier?
No, but I'll write it down.
Yeah, because if you go back like the 2014 or 15, and he has a really he's an atheist, but he has a really interesting take on but he spends an awful lot of time in Christianity and
Yeah.
and
I would be interested in that just because, I grew up, I have I wouldn't call it like hodgepodging things together per se, but I believe everybody's idea of God and, Christ is its own thing too there. But like God, divine, source, universe, I mean, that's, source. I guess it's a good, safe way to put it.
all right, and we'll see you the next time. She has to take another shower here, so she's been doing
What has she been doing?
she's been like working out to the oldies while she's been listening to this. Oh, I don't know. I'm just making that up as I go along.
It's too funny.
been working out. I'm just standing here. Oh yeah, all right. And I can
Yes.
see like what was that movie? It was the Miseducation of Cameron Post, and then there has this workout video to this Tanya Tandy or something like that,
Mm.
and so that movie was all about those gay re-education camps,
Oh,
in
goodness.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what about this star over here?
Yeah. Um, okay, that one needs to be like a deep red.
A deep, deep red. All right.
Yeah, like, kind of like an earthen red to me, or you could just do like a yeah, or like a deep, but not like, not like Dorothy's slippers, okay? Like, I don't like that. I like it to be a little bit more earthy, or an earthy deep red to me
Hmm.
is just my personal preference. I did bring some, for our viewers, some different star cards too, like, that I like from my collections.
So the Soul Source Tarot. I'll have to look that up. That
Yeah,
was.
she's pretty she's um and she's very, she's got her, own opinions, and she's not afraid to share them, just like the Queen of Swords, but she's very, realistic, real about it. And then, you get other channels where um more open to bringing in really
So
deep esoterics into it. Yeah.
any of these reds?
I would say that the mm,
Both of them. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. Um, yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. We can add a different color, like a metallic red on.
Yeah, an overlay. I'm trying to see if I have something on my desk right now that, because I know I had a stone that I like, but it's
Mhm.
probably not right by me for that one.
Yeah. So my first tarot channel was like magnetize yourself,
I did not know that about you. That's interesting.
and I was because I was looking up twin flame connections because I had this like in.
It's how a lot of it starts on YouTube, people looking for answers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I had this really weird experience, and it was like I was like talking to this young lady, and and the next
That
thing
looks cool, Bill. I
the
like
next
that.
thing the next thing I know, I was look, I was in this conversation, and then I was like in two places at the same time.
Mhm.
I saw the person's. It was like her soul popped out of her body, and mine popped out of their body, and they came and flushed right together, and they were just like it was just like
You
dovetail
felt the connection, yeah. You
connection. I
can't
mean, that
yeah.
is really odd, and then I was like looking, well, what does that mean? And then I was like on
Mhm.
this high for like 6 months.
Yeah.
The
And
last
then and then you're in the lowest low ever, because
it's gone.
what, like 99% of
Mm.
yeah, twin flames used to be apart.
And then I go like into like the zone of being totally like obsessive afterwards because it's gone. And then it's like, oh, it's like
Mhm.
patterns. And then I was thinking, well, I mean, it's not like
A lot
that.
of readers get started that way, funny, right? Like, it kinda
Yeah,
starts that
yeah.
way. Mhm.
So then
And
I
there's
was
a
like,
lot of readers who exploit people that
yeah.
too, and I don't like people feeding
So
people's delusion, if it's a delusion. You know what I mean? That needs to
mm,
stop at a point, because it's not healthy. Like, I mean, really at the heart of it, the point is to put more love and focus and learn to love yourself first. And a lot of the times that is that person, which that's why I'm like not a huge fan of the twin flame thing, because I feel like it can be very toxic, and it's not fun. It's not, it's very painful. And so, um, yeah, like it's at some point, we need to give that up and learn to be whole within ourselves.
Well,
So it's not as romantic as it sounds, right?
it may be that the twin flame theory is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, or it's like a trigger, but I actually did some research into that, and really it's pretty new, and it can started in the 1990s, and it sounds like something that, everyone makes it sound like, "Oh, it's just from the dawning of time here." No, it's a very
You,
relatively new,
but
yeah,
it
and from a book.
is
Yeah.
but it's based out of Jewish mysticism.
Mhm, yeah, there and then there's, some references, yeah, from even, like, literature and poetry, perhaps, of the idea of, like, but I like to just think of, that we have soulmates and we have many, soul
Mm,
connections and everything, and
yeah.
we're not all meant to be together. There
Mhm.
it's just like, a guide that comes into your life and pushes you to change because you need to change something.
So, I added a bunch of different colors into it.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, so let's go do the sky. What color is the sky?
I mean, I'm gonna be boring and say it's gotta be like like a night sky color.
What color
Some
is
type
it?
of blue, right?
Some
Um,
kind of blue. Okay.
there you
And nice.
go. You can have it. They're playing with my Predicto kitty now, but it's off.
So Mama Sushi, I have or more intuitive me, I have a video where I talked about my alien dreams, but I did it like when I was early on in the channel, I did a Bigfoot episode. And so there's like
Look
me
at the
me
star
running
card.
around in the dark playing like I was a
Nope.
big, and so a star like maybe we'll go with a light blue and to a dark blue kind of.
Yeah, because if you look, and now this is like the colors have been muted out some on this. It's funny is one of my little girls just synchronicity here. She just handed me this crayon. It's blue. Isn't that funny?
All right, I'm gonna start with this with these kind of light blues. I'm gonna make the whole thing kind of a light blue, and then we'll add a darker blue over the top of it.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Okay.
I like that. I'm real laid back about
Okay.
that.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's not completely like telekinesis stuff going on here and telepathy and so forth. It's
But
sort of
is energetic vibrations where everything's made of energy.
yeah.
That's a fact.
Hmm. Yeah, so that whole twin flame thing, and so it's just been interpreting that stuff is the hard part.
Mhm. Yeah,
Interpreting
and being able to see, especially, because what most are what you could be in different countries.
yeah,
May
exactly.
never meet, and at what point, it's like you get caught up like, is this real? Do they really feel, but then you're like, but I feel it. But I honestly though, like I could just feel and see just from years of seeing it, you know. Um, yeah, there's just a point where it's not healthy because actions eventually speak louder than words, right?
Yeah.
And thoughts and feelings after a
Mhm.
while. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, oh, yeah. That's
I
probably like
have
one of those conversation type things where readers get together and, where people in the community, you don't have to be a reader to talk about that, obviously. Because that's not it's not about the
I've had that
tarot. Yeah. Yeah.
I've had that experience twice in my life.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I've had it. I get
Yeah,
it.
the
I get
fool.
it. That's why I could talk about it the way I
Yeah, yeah,
do.
yeah. It happened when I went to Israel and I met that person, and I guess I was the third person coming in, and I broke a relationship up. And then that
Oh,
day,
wow.
that person ended up going back to that person, And so she said, she was saying, well, we have that same experience too. So she was having those union experiences with that man as well, and
Okay.
all went to the same college together.
Wow.
And prior to me meeting her, um,
Mhm.
I used to
Yeah.
her husband was one of my drinking buddies. You know,
Oh, wow.
No,
That's okay, that is really fatalistic there. That's
yeah, yeah.
wild. Yeah.
Well, there was not always a but had I knew it was a small college, like what 1,200 people or 1,500
I
people,
have a
and
theory about that too, especially, like, when you don't end up in a relationship together at all,
yeah,
and, like, what the 3D versus the 5D. I mean, yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. Uh, I think that there's an added layer where you feel something, but you never actually get to experience it. So there's like a little bit of like, what could have been, you know, that you never got to maybe even have any physical contact, right? Actually
yeah,
meet in person. I feel like it leaves like a hole, or it helps leave it open a little bit,
mhm,
like open ended, and sometimes I think that can make it harder.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I know that when that relationship ended, it took a good 10 years to get over it,
yeah,
and I
and
hadn't.
yeah, and honestly, I mean, I think like um, I just don't like to call it twin flame, you know,
Mhm,
anymore, just because I don't like how people are what they're turning it into, and I feel like it's taking advantage just to get more, people to sit in on readings to feed them a lie, you
yeah,
know, and painting cards together too positively and leaving things where, yeah, that's wrong. And I'm not saying everybody does that; they don't at all. Because I mean, they'll can go in those too, and they'll tell you like, "Oh, this is
yeah,
what it is," right? Um,
mm,
but yeah, just don't make don't like just cheer something up, right? It's really like
mhm,
sometimes I believe, and it's hard to sometimes to say that it's an uncomfortable experience as a reader.
yeah,
Sometimes you hate to deliver bad news, right?
mhm. Well,
But it's truth. It's truth, and
mhm,
there's a tactful way to do it. And
mhm.
yeah, it's not easy. It's
Well, see
not.
that channel Magnetize Yourself does everything black screen, so you have no idea what the cards are. And you don't even know if they're actually reading cards at
Okay.
all. That's the thing that's
Yeah.
interesting about it is that in
Okay,
that
yeah.
she's got I don't know, she might be up to like a
Uh-huh. That's an interesting point. I mean, a lot will show their cards, but
mhm,
um, just some of the meanings I'm looking and I'm like, that might be a little too positive, or really gets people. It's not personal readings; it's the collectives, and they're like, I know this is for me. It's not everybody's message, and
well,
it's hard.
yeah,
It is hard to decipher. It's a um and you feel like it's yours, but it's not always yours, and that's really hard, and it's a difficult thing to accept.
yeah, yeah, so when I was in that zone, it seemed like half the readings that this person put out seemed to be just talking to me. But you know
Yeah.
that there is that thing that
Mhm.
happens that when you are in a spiritual high point and then you go, let's say you read sacred literature and everything else, it all talks to you in that moment.
I have in my natal chart something called a Neptune complex.
Yeah.
Neptune. Yeah. So it's hard. It's seeing through illusions
Mm.
and wanting something to be true that might not be. And it's
Yeah.
something that I might um put a rose, like, like a rose lens glass on a situation,
Yeah.
because I want it to be a certain way, and it's not. And
Yeah. And
this could even, I mean, so when the veil drops, reality really hurts. um,
yeah.
I just I have a yearning in my chart to have extraordinary spiritual experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have us that that special spiritual connection, and sometimes we can project our wow, that's a lot of psychology. That's what I love about tarot psychology. Um, the psychology behind it, it
Mm.
shows it. It's very truthful. But yeah, um, which is discernment, right? You
So
have to learn
what?
discernment, and not everybody can or will.
Hmm.
Everybody's journey is different, and there's a reason why we go on these journeys.
Hmm.
So, funny that you say the veil, or I just said the veil. This is from James Eads, James R. Eads. I can't remember which one this is. The cosmic. Let me. Ugh, the Cosmovisions Oracle. And the veil, and it's funny, like, I'm talking about this lady, the in between the realms here, and you see, this person in the veil there, and
Oh,
yeah, that's the star
you
interpretation
know,
for that one. It's interesting.
it may be that you're right. I seek after those experiences, and because when I had those, like, when I was like baptized, and I was baptized
Hmm.
at 9, and when the pastor put the water on my head, though he sprinkled it, but I felt like I was just immersed in this spirit, and it was just like, uh,
Yeah,
it was
I
like
need to look at Neptune in your chart and see how it
the
does, because
it was
yeah.
this bolt
Uh-huh.
of lightning coming down from his hand, and it was gluing me down, and I was like maybe into this kneeling position. And I had that same kneeling experience when I was in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and I felt this hand push me down to the floor. Is like kneel.
It doesn't
And
mean that it wasn't real, though, for
yeah,
you,
and then
yeah, I think there's things that are just unexplainable, right?
yeah, and so you have there was that, and Israel was just full of those types of experiences, because there's like this thing called the um Jerusalem syndrome, where people go there, and
Mhm.
then they end up staying, and they throw on like a burlap robe or something, and they're found like begging on the streets for coins, and having this massive experience while they're in Israel, and maybe they just stay as long as their visa allows. I don't know, but but there's a
Yeah.
human thing, and so like I have a buddy. Oh, I haven't seen him since college. I miss him to death, but it's like um he was a physics student, and he was from my home state, but he went over to like on a summer, or maybe it was a January term. So it was something with through the college. He went to India, and he had a massive experience over there, and then he was Catholic, and then he would be throwing on a burlap robe and walking around on campus with this Jesus robe on. And
Wow.
then he got into a lot of trouble where
Mhm.
he was camping out on the campus grounds in a teepee. And he refused to leave, but then eventually the city had to like pull him out. Then he went back into his dorm room or something like that.
That's like Neptune for you, is that it's hard
Well,
to sometimes decipher what's real and what's not,
yeah,
because you have both one foot in and one foot out kind of in Pisces. It's like the
yeah.
last stop on the zodiac before you hit
And
the
then
great unknown.
with him, there was like after he graduated, he goes and I think I kept in contact with him for just a few years, and
Mhm.
then I lost contact with him. But he lived in ashrams and everything, like in Northern California. Then he got married, and then everything changes, of course, when you get married. And then I didn't hear from him. But then I had a friend, a poet friend, when I was living in McMinnville, and he moves down to LA. He was also an actor. He moves down to LA, and he gets a job with this guy. And this guy his business was an eBay business, and he was hired. And I think, oh my God, what a serendipity of that! One of my friends just moves to LA and gets a job with somebody who I
Mhm.
connected to.
Energetic vibrations can bring people together.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
that
for
was
different reasons, and then sometimes there are people that are, that's where there's people who would prey on that and see somebody, and and a chance to take advantage of it. That's a problem, is knowing what to trust at times, and what yeah, it's,
mhm,
fascinating. That's
yeah.
a fascinating astrology hole to go down to, yeah, on into for me, but it's something interesting that I learned recently about myself. I
Well,
was like,
yeah,
"Oh
yeah,
my gosh, that's me."
with that was that. And
Yeah.
but it's just that whole thing of having an experience and having it just change
You want
your
something
entire.
sacred, and you want something like, yeah, like,
Mhm,
just, yeah, like, like, somebody could be super hot, and I'm like, "Yeah, they're hot. They look great."
mhm,
But if I don't have any kind of connection with them, like, I'm not gonna the it's like it won't do it for me, Like, for
so
yeah, yeah, I don't just, like, if I can't have a conversation
mhm,
with somebody and connect and click in some way, um,
yeah.
I think people become more attractive when you have that that connection in
Mhm,
something. You just can't put your finger on it. But there
yeah,
are, unfortunately, also people out there who aren't such good people and know that they can do that to people too.
mhm,
So it's, oh gosh, it's just awful, right? And confusing to know. And that's just life. It's
mhm.
life. And also too, we kind of dip into, you know, do I need to talk to a therapist at this point? Like, am I mentally stable? Right?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. There's a lot of lines and nuances and stuff. So um, yeah, but I
Right.
feel you. I'm really glad you talked to me about that. Um,
So what's
okay, I've got a question for you. Have you ever had to do a part 2 in one of these?
we are going to do a part two.
Okay, because 'cause we're gonna have
Because
to, because I've gotta go get my son.
I'm up to that 90-minute mark, and
Yeah.
so we're gonna have a part two. And this conversation is so great, it's really good. So we're gonna have that maybe like next Tuesday at the same time. I don't think I have anything scheduled then.
Okay, sure. That's
And,
the thing about Bill and I, we could talk for, like, ever. Like,
yeah, and so 'cause, then we can talk about other things. But this has been really
Mhm.
fascinating to talk about that.
I
Um,
enjoyed it, and it's
yeah,
nice to have, just an honest conversation, and it's a vulnerable conversation to
mhm,
have, but I think it's good for people to hear too, um, people's experiences and journeys with that, and to also know that coming out of it sometimes on the other side, and um, but you can't, each in their own time, right? Divine timing. Sometimes it's the
it is that.
healing processes, or there's no time limit on it.
Mhm.
You can't force it. It just
Oh, one of my lights just burned out.
it just like it. Yeah, I get it, Bill. I really do. I do.
Well, it's like there is that sense of, is this light burned out too? Well, this is the one that's going bad. Okay. And anyways, it's like you
Our
have
guiding light is going out.
yeah, yeah.
We don't want that to happen. And that's what the star too is, having faith when we fall, that we sometimes it's just divine guidance itself and hope and um, inspiration to
Like I
believe in tomorrow. So, and tomorrow will be next week for us.
Yeah, it looks like I lost my internet for just a second there. The stream
You did.
froze. And so, yeah,
How
I was
ironic
gonna
as I
say,
was talking about that too, right?
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but I must have got really blurry or something. And so, oh, look,
I
it's
said something about
717.
divine guidance. They must have liked it.
Yeah. So, yeah, seeking after experiences and then going and then feeling cut off, and then you go into that dark night of the soul thing, and then you kind of go off into this other realm, and so maybe you end up going on a massive drunk or something like that for 20 years, or I don't know, but that wasn't me. um yeah,
Hey, weird things happen when energies collaborate sometimes. So
yeah, yeah.
I have light anomalies. That's something for me, but today's been all right.
So yeah,
Well, thank you so very much. I
we
really
are
enjoyed this.
all right.
And
It
part
will, and
two.
we're going to have a part two soon, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this down here, part one.
That's a lot of sky. Yeah.
And then we'll have more sky, and there's more stuff down here
Yeah. And we
with.
got to talk about the ibis. Yeah.
You're right.
And I'll share my poem next week that I wrote on a star card from a deck. It's short.
Yeah,
If people want to hear it,
they do want to hear it. Today is the fourth, right? 2, 4,
Yeah,
and the
mm, I don't know what the date next Tuesday is. I know I know Friday's the 14th, 13th,
Friday is
11th. Is it the
Valentine's
11th?
Day. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. This Friday is not the 14th.
No, I'm talking about next week. So
Um,
that's how I was trying to figure out what date Tuesday was when I was working backwards.
yeah, yeah. So, like for people that are looking in and watching in out now, I when I do these special shows with guests, I actually can't track the chat as well. And so when I do my regular live streams, I can multitask well enough to keep up with the chat while I'm painting and doing other things, but I cannot do it with another person here. So it's like I'm not I'm trying to watch the chat, but I actually can't really see it very well.
And I'm watching little ones in the off to the sides in the
Yeah,
background too, so
yeah.
it doesn't help.
So yeah,
And I can't, I can't sit here and cut people out too on my iPhone while I'm in
yeah.
here right now that I know of. I've never done it before, so I don't want to mess anything up. On
Well, no
StreamYard, I
doubt.
can't on my phone. Yeah.
And I'm really liking kind of some of the things that are going on here, some of the textures, and we'll
I think the
finish.
stars are fab.
And then we'll start with the next week. We'll start by finishing the sky, layering in darker colors. But you know what?
Yeah.
All of these ideas could completely change by next week.
Stay
You know,
tuned.
we can completely do that. And I wanted to appreciate everybody for being here, for Dan and Mama Sushi, the more intuitive me, and the more intuitive me. We're going to have another show soon. Soon, I'm going to be doing this Friday night with Ange with Roots and Waves, and we're going to be doing something. I'm not sure exactly which
Fun.
one we're going to do. And then thank everybody who pushed the like button and everyone who might have possibly pushed the sub button. I'm approaching 1,000 subs, and
Yay! Congrats on that. By the way, I noticed. That's
yeah.
awesome.
All
That's
right,
nice.
my other light's kind of flickering, and so we are at the end of the line for today, and we'll see you the next time. I might actually do another live tonight. I think I will because it may be after 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. I don't know when. I may not. I don't know. but I'm just throwing it out there. Anyways, and you can find Care Bear Bard of the Cards at Care Bear Bard of the Cards on the old YouTube, and she has a variety of shows that she does.
Yeah. Got some
And
stuff
then,
coming up in my community tab. Y'all can check it out. Fun
yeah,
stuff. Mm-hmm.
and thank you, Karen, and we'll see you next week to finish the star card.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.